We are joined by one of the UK's most famous skiers. Normally at this time of year, he is a busy man presenting things like Ski Sunday and appearing all across the Alps. But as skiing has been put on hold for the winter, he's had to find other ways to be the centre of attention, which might explain why he's been skiing out of his loft and agreeing to appear on our podcast. Thank you very much, Graham. Welcome to our podcast.
Hi.
What have you been doing to stave off the boredom of isolation?
Well, I think it's very difficult because, the things that I really enjoy, getting out into the mountains, getting, ski touring. This is the time of the year to go ski touring. That's part of my psyche, part of my character, risk taking, and, generally kind of having a good time and partying. Those are the three things that I would say that kind of I would be doing at this time of the year. And those are the three things that have been completely locked down. You can't really, seriously take any kind of risk because you don't really want to hurt yourself this time of year. And basically getting out into the high mountains is not a good idea either. Well, it's bad.
We should probably clarify, Graham, we should probably clarify what we're talking about, because although it is, the second most viral thing around at the moment. There've been like over 300,000 views, I see, of this video, which is you posted it on your Facebook page, and it's entitled "Is it the Hausenkam, the legendary Hausenkam?"
Yeah, so I was basically getting cabin fever, and I just thought, what can I do? What would I normally be doing this time of year? Well, normally I'd be kind of skiing down a slope with a camera. So I was like, why don't I set that up? And I was watching a lot of skate videos, and there's a lot of home skating going on. Skateboarders kind of, in their living rooms. And I just thought, could I do that on skis? Yeah, is it possible? And so basically went outside. I've got a ski chair in the back garden with some skis cut in half. I just took the smallest ones off that and mounted them with some bindings. So I had some very small skis. And I thought, well, let's see if we can do this.
Very short.
Yeah. So I ended up kind of skiing from the loft, jumping down from the loft, skiing down the first flight of stairs, and then kind of around the living room. We set it up basically. It wasn't all filmed in Awana.
Did you have to? Did you have to do a lot of persuasion to get your wife to let you ski through the house?
No, well, Sarah was okay with it. It was Lottie that got really pissed off because she was sleeping, and I was in the loft right above her head, banging around for the first hour, and she didn't really know what was going on. So she was already pretty pissed off when I then asked her to kind of come and be in it.
Right.
And
Okay. Well,
she
did look quite fed up. I think it's nice to see, Graham, that your loft is a similar state than everyone else's as well.
Yeah.
Did you tidy that up before you went up there?
No, that's kind of it. That's its normal state. In fact, that's it being tidy, actually, to be fair. It's normally a lot messier than that. But yeah, I tidied it as one of the kind of things that I was doing to stave off the boredom. I mean, the thing is, I normally get it anyway, but I normally get it. I call it seasonally affected disorder in reverse. So I normally get this in May when the snow melts and I come home, and May is normally a very kind of quiet month for me anyway. And so, it's just come early. May's come early. and there's no work, there's nothing on that's the other thing that's kind of like scary for me, is that I had everything planned out for the summer, and I had all these jobs, different jobs, the Olympic Games, obviously, various different jobs pre-Olympic Games, and they're all on a wall planner so that everyone can see where I am and what I'm going to be doing. And I just had to take some acetone to the wall planner and just rub it all out. Yeah. And now I've got a wall planner that's completely empty up until next January.
Well, we're delighted to have been able to put an appointment into your calendar, then, Graham.
Yeah.
You are very lucky. And so will you try that again? Because you've obviously now got a personal best in the Hausenkam, or will we see a different version of it?
I don't know. Maybe we could do something next year. We'll find something something else ridiculous to try and ski down. Didn't who
Next
was
year,
it?
you've got 3
Who was
months.
it skied the Great Wall? Who was it skied the Great Wall? Was it Gellan
Candide
Shishiri?
Tabo.
Candide, yeah, Candide. He did the Great Wall. Yeah, so there's and then the escalator. Who did the escalator? The Norwegian. There was a Norwegian guy did the escalator.
A
The
few
angel.
people have. You know, I have a copy of.
But that was illegal.
Yeah, I have a copy of. I can't remember what video it was, but one of those early ones. It was shot by like Jim Adlington or someone like that of Pat Sharples, who's currently coach GB Snowsport, skiing down an escalator in Liverpool Street Station. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
one of
it's
those
called.
Season Wars videos.
Season Wars. There you go. That was the one. Excellent. It wasn't Jim Adlington. It's a Courchevel season video. I think Pat filmed it.
Yeah. So there's things out there to be done. Various different challenges. We could do it.
I was going to say, Graham, you don't think you peaked too early? Like, we've got 13 weeks of this potentially.
Well, yes.
Don't get all your ideas out in one go. Let's save it up. We've got a few months to go.
Cool. Okay. Well, I mean, that's brilliant.
I'm trying to get my son involved.
Right. We were talking about maybe having
course. Your stairs are quite thin.
Yeah.
Cool. That's brilliant, Graham. We're talking about maybe having another interview at some point, like sort of longer version. Maybe we could do that at some point down the track.
Cool. Brilliant.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much for getting up, and this will go live, Jim. What in towards the end of this week? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Friday if you're really lucky. Happy indoor skiing, Graham.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah. Survive the lockdown. Cheers.
There we go. There's that. That was good.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's more of a skill, isn't it, to learn when there's 3 people talking to try and get it right, so you don't talk over other people. And video is good because you have the some visual clues, but there's still, because there's a bit of a lag.
I think there's quite a delay on that one. Normally, there's not quite so much of a delay, but there was that time.
Yeah. Okay, I've just saved that one. So that was good. Right, we were just talking about, oh yeah, that's right, COVID special. So you not so sure about that. What about, because my rationale that I was thinking there is that we've got an opportunity to get build our audience, and the easiest way to do it is to have more episodes, to be quite frank. But my thinking is end of April. So I think I told you that Sarah Roloff, who's basically the woman who gave us the contract at Switzerland Tourism, she was leaving, right? And they've appointed her successor, who I've been told who it is, but it's not been publicly announced. Did I tell you about that? It's like a German lady who was working for, she's young, was working for Lufthansa.
Yeah, I did get that message.
Yeah, now she is starting in, I think she said June or maybe May, but Sarah is not leaving because she can't go to Japan, which is her new job. Now, I kind of see that as a good thing because maybe she'll be there shadowing her or something like that. But I looked at what we said to Switzerland Tourism, and basically we said to them, can't actually pull it to hand now, but we basically said to them, oh, there it is, to April 2020. So we keep mentioning, we're doing loads of mentions for them, etc. So effectively it ends, at the end of this month. So we've got, a couple more episodes. So I'm thinking what we discussed before, we're going to say to them, oh, it's 40,000 listens during the whole period, every single episode, because of the trails you put on, as mentioned, Switzerland Tourism. If you're going to compare it to anything else, then you need to look at AIB figures, etc., and then see if we can get them to continue it, through either annually or through the summer. That makes sense.
Yeah, or a 6 month review, you mean, something like that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you give them, I presume if it was like through the summer, you'd say lower rate because Normally,
Sure,
we
better.
we would get fewer listeners in the summer, but maybe this summer we won't get fewer listeners because people will keep it up. I mean, we've obviously got a bigger, I don't know how many subscribers we have, but we must have more subscribers now. Maybe offer them an annual thing now or a summer only thing until next season, until like September. Any thoughts on that?
I think we offer them all of them, don't we? And then see which they prefer to do. I mean, obviously, it's better to get them signed up for a whole year.
Yeah. I think we should be quite bullish, though, for an annual thing because, you know, there was quite a bit of interest. And in the end, it was them who took it, which was great. But I'd hope that when we got to, you know, as we move on, there should be more interest from other people as well because it's another year of the podcast being around. We're more established. And also, I have a feeling that, you know, resorts and destinations are going to want to work hard, or they're going to have to work hard to get people to come back. Particularly if there's no ski show, because, you know, some of those people spend a lot of money on the ski show.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think if we're going to speak to them, then whatever we offer them.
Yeah. Okay. What about this other idea I had, which we don't need to rush out because, as you said, Graham might have gone a bit early. Group watch of a ski movie.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's easy to sort out, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the way I kind of saw this one working for example, Blizzard of Oz. I mean, I've actually got a copy of it on DVD, and if people had a copy, they could. But I found on YouTube a version of it has Spanish commentary, but there is a free version on YouTube. There's nothing on Netflix or Amazon Prime. But I think we'd set it up on Facebook with a certain time and date to watch it. And then everyone can watch it at the same time, and then they type in comments on Facebook while they're watching.
Or we could just pick one that we're allowed to stream on Facebook.
One that we can stream on Facebook. How would we do it?
How would we do it?
Yeah.
You can start watch parties, which is part of Facebook, isn't it?
Right. You mean if it's a video on Facebook already? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. We could illegally upload it as a third party, so we didn't get in trouble, and then share it to our feed. There's nothing wrong with that. Theoretically, I can put in using the outside OBS broadcast software. I can patch it in directly to Facebook if I wanted to.
Wow, that's clever. Would you be able to put in something that's that long?
Yeah, essentially, I can run it on one screen, and I can use the software to transfer it and broadcast it live on Facebook.
Well, that is super clever. Do you want to try all that and see if you can get it to work? And then if we know
I know I can do it because we run a live stream. I've done it quite a bit before. Like, for example, when I went and met Jeremy Corbyn, we live streamed using all this software. His speech and stuff. But speaking of that, I did think that
you're not going to tell me you're going to invite Jeremy Corbyn on the show.
No, I'm not. I don't think skiing would fit very well with his message.
Yeah, sorry.
And I imagine they're quite busy. Of all the people that have nothing to do, I think politicians probably do. And also, so we can put this, what you're seeing right now, live onto Facebook.
Yeah.
Really easily.
Yeah.
So I thought a really simple episode would be if we choose a date, say next Wednesday, maybe like 11 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning.
Yeah.
We promote it from now on the Facebook page and wherever. Get people to know it's going to happen. We'll just run it as a really simple Ask Jim and Ian. Maybe we'll tell everyone it's on. And then all they do is I give them the link to this.
Yeah.
And then we can patch them in, have like a 10-minute chat with one of the, like Matt Hayes or whatever. You'd love it. I mean, he sends me private messages all the time. Like, he would come on, we could have a little chat with him, he can ask us some questions, maybe we can invite Burrows on, he'll come on for 10 minutes, we'll have a chat, nothing particularly structured, I mean slightly structured, but not like what we do the normal show, but people can come on and ask, and if Dave's there for 10 minutes, maybe someone will come in and ask him a question about, why is their left foot doing whatever it's doing. So, have like an open session that we then can just.
So you've given people the link. So as a sort of administrator, you can see when people have joined, and then it's up to you to bring them in.
Absolutely, and kick them out. Just as I did with Graham just then.
Yeah, and then you can put them out, and they would be on video. So
it would look just like we just did with Graham here.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I'm thinking about that sounds reasonable. 10 minutes per person sounds quite long, and unless you don't have many people. What do you see it being going for an hour or something at the most?
Just see it being like a casual chat, and it can be put out as a special, and it hasn't got to be the same. It might be shit, it might be good, who knows?
Yeah, but time-wise, how long do you think that would be?
Well, maybe an hour.
Yeah, maybe an hour being an hour at the most.
I mean, if it feels nice, we'll just carry on. We don't have to broadcast it all, do we?
But I thought it was going out live on Facebook.
Yeah, but not that many people will see it. We don't have. Not everyone is on our Facebook page, right?
Sure, and obviously it'll be recorded.
I imagine we probably won't get more than 20 people watching it, right?
Yeah, live. I mean, obviously it stays on there. No, it might. I think it's a good idea. I think it's great. We kind of,
or if you wanted to do it as this COVID special, we could do it that way. We say, we're going to be live for an hour. If you're in resort, and if it works, then we do a different one.
Yeah, no, I think your thing, Q&A thing sounds good. We could call it Q&A with Jim and Ian. We put the link out. People can join in, and then you just explain to them what you explained to me, how they'd be patched in and out, and we'd have a chat. But I think if it's going to work and there's people in a queue, it needs to be relatively dynamic, not people on for too long. Maybe,
that's down to us to kick people off, isn't it?
Yeah. Because
it might be that we find that we've it's basically 5 Live you're cool, isn't it, that sort of thing,
for sure. And so with that, they're kind of they, as long as we keep it going and say we've got an hour maximum.
Yeah.
So cool, let's do it. Do you want to pick a time and line a time and date and line it up?
Well, if we do it next Wednesday,
yeah.
Well, I mean, like we say, maybe we should just do it where we. Anyway, we'll think about it. Cool. We'll do it next Wednesday. Right. We'll do an Ask Jim and Ian, and then they can come on and ask what they like.
Yeah, Wednesday is good. And will you do the promotion on Facebook and iTunes, Twitter?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. Okay, that sounds good. Just I had a point on there about social sharing, in that I've been doing most of it. It'd be good if you could share a few things on social as well.
Yep, sure. Sorry,
that's all right. But just because ultimately putting the podcast out there is just one. That's our product, but we need to get people to get to it and to know about it. Sharing it is obviously the best way, and building up subscribers is best. If we can get, you used to ask people to share it with their can't remember the exact expression, but you know the one I mean.
Yeah.
With their cool ski friends. I think that's it, isn't it?
That's right. Right, I do have to crack on though, Ian, because I've got to be at school in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
40 minutes, sorry. 40 minutes.
Right. Go on then. Let's do it.
1948. Hello, this is the Ski Podcast, the perfect podcast for the armchair skier, which essentially is all of us. And right now, let's do a quick time check. It's that period of life when the world went into confinement, just so we're clear of what's going on before we crack on with the podcast. The Ski Pod is sponsored by Switzerland Tourism because in a country, no, I didn't read that. I didn't read it right. The Ski Podcast is sponsored by Switzerland Tourism. Because in a country where there are 57 peaks over 400 meters, you're going to get some great skiing, right? And some of those places offer summer and extended skiing, which is worth remembering. Zermatt Glacier Paradise is one great place, the Saas-Fee Glacier, both open in the summer for skiing. And also, you'll find extended skiing, Glacier 3000 and Engelberg as well. That's exciting. Hi, Ian, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you very much, Jim.
Oh, good short hello. Coming up in today's show, we're going to be talking to Graham Bell. There'll be more about crime in Aspen. Ian has some information about Andermatt. We have a book review, and we will be talking about something called COVID-19. So then I'll slide in Graham's stuff there, all right?
Yep.
Brilliant. Well, that was kind of Graham's pop along. Do you think he's going to be buying this Lego model, Ian, to keep him busy?
It sounds like he's, very keen to keep all things skiing going. This Lego model you're talking about is the Snow Groomer, which we first mentioned in episode 40, and I like the idea that because we mentioned it, because there was it's not a crowdfunder, was it? It was like a petition for Lego to make it, and apparently it's going to happen.
Yep, looks like it. They've got 10,000 people to say. I don't know if you actually have to confirm and say you're going to buy it, or you just go, I quite like it, I might buy it. Right now, I'd probably buy it if it was on sale, because it looks like a fairly, half a day's worth of project gone.
Right, it looks fairly complicated, but I like the idea that it's fully remote controlled. Like if you're really missing it, you could set up something in the garden there and, I don't know, groom the sandpit or something like that.
Yeah, there is, the good news is that there's been no snowfall, so I haven't had to clear any. But it would be sad if I had this toy, because I wouldn't be able to use it. There's a little patch. I've almost been doing, Ian, some sort of snow farming in the car park, where the plough has pushed it into the corner and it's covered in gravel, and it hasn't melted compared to everywhere else. So I could maybe use it on that.
Okay, well, if it goes well, it will be in production soon. The Prinoth Light Wolf Lego Snow Groomer.
It's no piston bully. That's the truth, though. Ian, you have been chatting more to your friend Jason over in Aspen, haven't you?
Well, yeah, actually, we didn't include it last week because we sort of
did we not?
No, we ran out of time a little bit. So we moved on. So this was me talking to Jason from the Aspen Times about this outrageous, which is a word I use in the interview a couple of times, this ski thief in Aspen. Let's have a listen.
Well, I promise I would definitely edit that in this time, Ian, and remember I did it. You say in an interview it can't be true, but it definitely was true. Think of all the chalet hosts that used to sell chalet wine back to their guests.
What? No.
Oh, come on. There were so many chalet hosts, you get a bottle of wine for dinner, but if you want another one, it's €10.
I've to be honest with you, I've not heard of that one, but that was probably because I was a resort manager, and that would maybe if that happened, it didn't get that far to me or that close to me. But certainly, people fiddling their après ski or something like that is something that was heard of.
Oh, yeah. There was only one person on the pub crawl.
Yeah, exactly. One person on the pub crawl, because the pub manager fairly well, and you just not that I ever did this, but I heard this happened. You'd get a receipt from them for the appropriate number of people.
Speaking of pubs, my friend used to just acquire all the Guinness stuff that used to come in, like the mirrors and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Stick that straight on eBay, make a tidy profit.
Right. Okay. Well, so you're saying that that Derek Johnson isn't unusual, despite the fact he What did he sell now? Is he
£3.2 million worth of skis? I mean, that is pretty incredible.
Exactly.
It makes my it makes the time I lost Crystal Holidays £500,000 seem like a drop in the ocean.
Oh my God, that's got to be a subject for a future podcast.
Have I not told you that story?
No, go on then. Do you want to do it now?
No, we haven't really got time, to be honest, Ian. I've got
Okay.
we've got quite a lot to talk about,
We'll
and I've got to go homeschool.
That's good. What a tease.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure I must have told you that story. So shall we? I've lost my spot now. There, we're going to go straight into reviews. So early on in the show, Ian, we must have some good reviews. Is it because we're bribing people?
Well, it could be because there is a competition out there at the moment. We're giving away a bunch of free stuff, lots of free goodies that are picked up from Resort. And if you give us a review on iTunes up until I think it's the middle of this month, then you can go into the draw. I'm going to pick one at random. But as it goes, we have had quite a few reviews. A couple of them by email. Doug sent me an email saying, "Listen to your podcast on a run today. Very good." And Christian also emailed to say he loves the podcast, and he specified that he likes the older episodes, 1 to 12, which I do. But we've had a few on iTunes. Do you want to read any or a few?
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to read them all, do we? What have we got here? Lisa Marf says, since I started listening to the podcast, I have not contracted coronavirus. Which is good news. And what's more, I thought originally when I read that she said she had contracted it, and now I've seen the not. I'm a bit disappointed by the review, to be honest. It goes on to say, what's more, I've been inspired to take up skiing. It sounds like a blast. In all seriousness, Jim's electric wit and Ian's dulcet tones are the perfect light relief in a time of global uncertainty. Top-notch interviews, breaking news, razor-sharp political insight. And the Ski Podcast has it all. 4.8 out of 5. There we go. I mean, I've got nothing to add to
that. No, that's a good one. I mean, if we have it all, shouldn't we have 5 out of 5? I know, I'm not being picky or anything like that, but
I think it's your dulcet tones that let us down.
Right. Okay. We've got a JB_JC, another 5-star from them. Thank you very much. Real people talking about real ski stuff. Kitten Ski, 4-star, some informative chats with guests and amongst the two presenters, just about the right length, and keep it up during the current shutdown. Well, we're doing our very best, and regular listeners will know that Jim has produced a Avalanche special, which is now available as well to listen to. So we've got some extra content.
And essential listening right now. Essential listening.
Yeah, someone did point that out. But the fact is,
okay, let's do one more.
Yep.
It's always going to be there. It's not going anywhere. Let's do one more and we'll save the rest for next time. Jed Ainsworth says, Jim and Ian have a wealth of experience in the ski industry, with Jim in the Cluser and Ian back in Blighty. Their witty banter casts an eye over all things related to the ski industry, with expert guests providing valuable insight. This is compulsive listening. The entire back catalogue is also well worth listening. Not up to 12 though. Don't listen to those ones. Congratulations, chaps, on your half century. Yeah, we've done 50 so far, so thank you very much. One thing there though, some people have names and they seem to, it has a nice order to it. I don't think Jim and Ian or Ian and Jim really flow in either direction. My kind of thinking there.
You mean that that it's not an irreversible binomial? From the point of view that you always have fish and chips, but you can have Ian and Jim. I think Jim and Ian, personally.
There we go. That's fine by me. But I just say, I don't think it, I think it's, it's not essential that it has to go that way around. But there we go. That is that. Thank you very much. Like Ian said, there is a competition. So if you put us on iTunes, you might win a bag load of stuff, which is pretty essential. You can get that. And don't forget to share us with your ski friends. Go onto Facebook and, why don't you share it into one of your school ski groups and let them know all about us. That's a good way of sharing us, because the more people we have, the bigger the prizes could be potentially. So Ian, that was reviews. One of them, someone said they liked our resort reviews. You got anything for that might suit that?
Resort reviews. Well, yeah. When the curtain came down on skiing in Switzerland, I happened to be out in Andermatt, and very interesting resort, Andermatt, and have a little interview here, which I think will give us a bit more information about it.
Well, it's definitely an interesting story. I think the story of all resorts and how they grow is potentially quite interesting. But what's your favourite thing about Andermatt? What was the best thing about it while you were there?
Well, I think the irony is that because the lifts, even though the lifts were closed, I really enjoyed the ski touring. I always like ski touring and getting away from it all. And I don't know, possibly it was being when on the second day went ski touring, we didn't have a guide, so we just stuck to the piste and we went up to Guch, which is about 2,300, I think. And there's a very posh Japanese restaurant up there, which is operated by the Chedi 5-star hotel in Andermatt. And the terrace was full of ski tourers eating their packed lunches that they brought with them. And normally, apparently, it's like 140, 150 chuffs per head, and that just really entertained me. It was a beautiful view, and I'll probably never be on that terrace again.
Do you normally get a lift up and then tour from there, or do you always start in resort?
That's a good question. Trying to think about different places. I guess it depends where you are. But there's on day one we took a train, and then we started from a bit higher. On day two we started lower down. So just depends where you are, really.
I think my question was going to be that was it slightly different that you just toured up from resort and you didn't actually tour into anything wild? You just toured into the main hub, which was essentially as quiet and wild as a normal touring route.
Yeah, I mean, in Courchevel earlier this season, I went from 1850 up to Salir, and so that was all along the piste as well. And I started quite early before the lifts were open, but that was a similar, I suppose, apart from the fact that the lifts did open and the piste got a bit busy near the top.
And less chance of contracting a deadly virus at that point.
Yeah, happier days.
Well, there we go. The story of Andermatt, an interesting tale. Let's segue politely to another very interesting story. Ian, you'll be pleased to know I still haven't. No, I have. I have read the whole of the Erna Lowe book, which is called Aiming High, and it's written by Mark Frey. Interesting tale. What do you think?
Mark Frey. Yeah,
I mean, I clearly can't read this morning.
I really enjoyed the book. It was excellent. I think we mentioned last time round, it's more than just a story of her life, as fascinating as it was. It's a real insight into the history of the ski industry, in the UK, and how everything has changed. I mean, you mentioned touring just then. When Erna Lowe was first, taking people on ski trips, there were no lifts, and they went touring. They used to walk uphill and then ski down.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's an interesting way. The way that we are so spoilt now as holiday makers in terms of what we get, but these were like the middle upper classes going on what essentially was a rough and ready. You walk up the hill, cook your own food sort of stuff, and now we're annoyed if the chalet host forgot to put a cake out.
Yeah, I mean, when you say rough and ready, in that era they had to. I think I mentioned this in last week's interview with Mark, but people used to have to. You'd pay for your holiday costs, and then you'd have your extras. If you wanted to have a bath, then it was a bit extra. These days you mentioned tour operators getting a cake when you're on a chalet holiday. Pay extra for your cake. Pay extra for a shower, etc. All of these things were added on, partly because of the currency restrictions, but it was completely different. I mean, ensuite rooms, they didn't really exist. You know, you'd be off down the hallway to the shower or bathroom, of which there'd be one in the chalet.
And some woman at the end making sure that you weren't sharing the bathwater. I've got to say, like, it's a really well written book, and you know, you shouldn't have to say that, but I think, you know, we've read quite a few self-published books and things like that because of the nature, I suppose, of our industry. But this was written really well, and the story of Erna was interesting enough. But like you say, I think the tale behind the rise of the British package holiday, specifically in ski, I mean, it's fascinating for me to read. I really, really enjoyed it. Erna comes across as quite a challenging woman. Did you ever meet her, Ian? Because my question is, would I be able to work for her? Would I have lasted? Would I have been one of these special people that she drew into her group, or would she be like, "You're an idiot, get out"?
She does sound amazing, doesn't she? No, I never met her. So there was a slight crossover in the industry, but I never knowingly met her. And yeah, she definitely was. You hear about people who, well, let's say she sounds like she had a very low level of tolerance if you weren't her sort of person, but if you were, she was amazingly loyal and would look after you. Yeah, so formidable is what she normally seems to be described as.
Absolutely. So are we actually going to recommend this book?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to recommend it. Yeah, if you're interested in skiing and a bit of ski history, for sure.
The other thing I found interesting about it, because obviously you and me both do marketing as part of our jobs, is that, you know, a lot hasn't changed. It's still, you know, one of the core messages that I speak to my clients about is content is king. You know, content is a really important part of what you do to drive sales, not necessarily just, you know, basic advertising. And, you know, she was practicing that herself. She took movies of skiing to villages and towns to show us content, and then promoted her business on the side of the back of that. I think, you know, it's interesting to see how things haven't always progressed as much as we like to think they have.
I also thought she, you know, there's a reason that someone like her was so successful in the industry over a long period of time. You know, starting from, you know, 1932 when she first put on her first few trips. And Erna Low is still around now, although it was interesting to discover it's been out of business or gone out of business a couple of times.
3 times.
Yeah. But I did think she had a gift, not just for product, but, you know, assessing what the right sort of thing that people would want to buy. And that shift from Austria and Switzerland to France, and identifying France as being a destination when all those new resorts were built. I mean, to us now, you can look at Val Thorens and you can look at, you know, La Plan and think, oh, yeah, they're obviously purpose-built resorts. But she was there when they were built, taking people there for the first time. But also a gift for marketing. You know, there's a picture in the book of a van that's been, you know, dressed up with Erna Low Travel Service, and it's the Winter Sports Advice Bureau, and it was touring the country, offering winter sports advice, and great piece of marketing.
I'm not sure you get away with that anymore. That would be a lie, wouldn't it? I've come to advise you about winter sports, mainly what I'm selling. Very good. Yeah, so definitely do buy it. I think you can get it online, I assume. I don't know, where can you buy it?
Yeah, you can buy it in lots of places for sure. And one point which will probably link into the next thing that I thought was very interesting is one of the reasons she was successful was she tapped into that post-war period where you had a lot of young people who hadn't been able to travel at all over like a 6-year period. You know, they hadn't been able to go to Europe, and there was this pent-up demand. And she tapped into that and was able to use that to develop her business. And we're in this very strange period at the moment because of the coronavirus, where people, you know, not booking holidays and maybe are wary about booking them for the future. I'm going to talk about that, but there is there will be a pent up demand there, and there will be an opportunity once people's confidence, you know, changes and improves, for people to take advantage, because people will still want to go on holiday. You know, people love these days. When she was doing it, hardly anyone went on holiday overseas, and now it's massive. So there's going to be opportunities.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Ian's trying to link to the coronavirus section that we're going to do that. My link was just as good, Ian. I was going to say, I mean, I'm interested to edit this because I can't wait to hear what my children have been up to in the background. That I clearly can hear them right now. I think they're doing the noisiest yoga I've ever heard. And then they're coming up to have an argument about should they be doing some schooling.
Okay, well let's press on then. Let's see how we go.
Let's talk about why everyone's in my house. It's because it's coronavirus. So we must mention that we're in lockdown. COVID-19 has shut down the world, but how is it affecting our wintry corner of the globe? Personally, I've taken it quite hard. I've not really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm pretty sad about it. Finding it hard to deal with, but that's just a personal level. I understand people that are actually struggling harder than me. I can still go shopping and do things, so it's not too bad. But despite everything, Ian, you're doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, I work from home normally, so I'm still working from home. I just have the family here as well, and we're allowed to, get out, and the weather's been good. So, as it goes, and currently we'll see what happens after this month. But currently, all my clients have kind of stuck with me, so that's quite promising.
Fingers crossed indeed. Right, but what was I going to say? Interesting. I wanted to talk about EasyJet first of all.
Oh yeah,
because despite the fact that they've all been grounded, the flights have all been grounded, so there's no more EasyJet flights anywhere. They are releasing their flights for the winter next year pretty early. Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're trying to beat the tour operators? Is it an impact on the package holiday because people have just bought a load of cheap flights and then they're going to end up taking self-catered accommodation? What do you think?
No, I think the market's too big for that, but I see it as a very positive sign. Skiers, the ski season is a long way away. I think there's reasonable amount of confidence that we're all going to be able to go skiing next winter, and therefore there's an opportunity. I think it's a positive sign for the industry. You can book your flights right now for half term in February 2021, and therefore there's considerable savings to be made, and any of those dates. And I think you mentioned in the previous episode, in our last episode, we've got an opportunity to support tour operators, and we've obviously got some insight into what's going on with holidays that have been booked and cancelled. But I'm trying to get people, as you said, to be positive and look towards 2020, 2021.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough time, and some of this it's interesting. Do you know what I think? It's probably the best thing to do. There's one person I've spoken to recently who's explained this quite clearly to me. Do you want? Should we have that interview?
Yep, good.
Okay, well, I've been chatting to Dave Froome, who has become an expert on is it ERP or EPR, EPG? I don't know. It's something he's an expert on over the last few weeks. He's become knowledgeable about it, and he's going to talk to us about European fight. I can't even remember what it is, Ian. Anyway, here's Dave. I mean, he makes all the same points as us, and that must be harder for him because he's in a position where he's selling holidays.
For sure. I mean, for sure. But you must be like me. You have clients who have a lot of holidays that haven't gone ahead, and they're trying to survive. And obviously, everyone is feeling like a cash squeeze, a credit squeeze to a certain degree. So. So I think in some respects there is an opportunity. The ski industry is slightly better positioned because if you're a summer operator, then you really are truly stuffed because you're not selling any holidays for June, July, probably August either. Whereas at least, we only lost a few weeks of the season, which might still be enough to put a bunch of people out of business. But next season is far enough off to sell.
I mean, it's interesting that tour operators holding off to a refund. I think there's a really big, difficult thing that they've had to do, right? Like you're alienating, say, a quarter of your seasoned clients, and they may get so cross that they won't book with you again. But then surely the upside is that if they're all going, they refuse to refund us, I'm still going to go skiing, I'll book with someone else. The chances are they probably didn't refund their clients, so it's just going to be a little shunt around in terms of customer loyalty for a year or two. So maybe that's a bonus point there.
It could be. I mean, I wrote a blog post on Skipedia the other day talking about how tour operators and companies might want to adjust their marketing. One of the things I suggested is that you offer people 100% refundable holiday, because if you do that right now, then that will get over the confidence issue. People aren't quite sure about booking, and okay, you might have to refund that holiday, but at least you're going to have a bit of cash flow and something going on.
But surely the confidence is that the company might not be there next year.
Yeah, right. Do you think that's the issue? I was more about whether or not you're going to be allowed to travel.
I mean, I don't know what people are thinking. I often find the British public are very hard to predict.
Well, yeah, we've seen plenty of evidence of that in the last few years. Can I bring up something that's not on our running order?
Is it one of those quizzes where I don't know the answers? And
no, I think this one you're going to know the answer. It's Ischgl. You've probably seen this news about Ischgl, which there was an outbreak of coronavirus in Ischgl, and that resort announced it was going to close before other Austrian resorts. And it came from a bar, oriented from a bar called the Kitzloch. And it transpires there's going to be a criminal investigation into whether or not there was a cover-up over that outbreak. And as this story is moving forward, it looks as well that there might even be a class action lawsuit against either the resort or the bar itself.
I mean, it's probably not the only lawsuit that's going to happen right now, Ian. I'm struggling to answer you because I've just got Schatzi, give me your virus. Schatzi, give me in my head, which is the wrong bar in Ischgl. So please don't sue me. I don't know. I mean, did they know about it? Cover it up?
Well, I think we'll probably find out.
It'd be an interesting story, but could that be the end of the resort?
But apparently, a barman there, had the coronavirus. He was organising these games of beer pong where people put ping pong balls in their mouth and fire them out to try and get them into beer. He had a whistle for controlling the game that other people were blowing as well. You can see how it spread so quickly.
I mean, surely, like if you're gonna sue a ski resort for that, then you may as well sue every airline. Every transport hub that keeps insisting that people could travel. It's a ridiculous idea. Like that's how I feel about it. I find this hard to be suable. You just got to. People have caught it. I don't know. I've not got razor political insight on this one, Ian.
Good. I like though. You've got a very clear opinion. That's excellent.
Shall we? Should we find out what someone in a resort is thinking at this moment? Or
yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's your mate, isn't it? Ed Mannix.
Right.
There we go, and that's Ed's insight into Switzerland. Still currently not quite as locked down as other places. You can seem to do as much as you want to do, which seems a bit crazy to me. But then obviously I'm in France and I can do literally nothing.
Can I mention someone else who's in France? Friend of the show, Alex Irwin, who is in Courchevel.
Didn't he break his leg, so he can't go out anyway?
He did break his leg, and it's taking him a long time to get anywhere when he goes out. So I don't know if you're limited by time. But he does say that in Courchevel, it's fairly relaxed. He has heard of gendarmes checking the papers, that you have to take with you when you go outside down in Moutier. But otherwise, it's not so bad around in Courchevel. Have your papers been checked when you've been outside at all?
Not once. I mean, I've stopped taking them when I go for a run because I can't be bothered to print them off anymore. my HP instant billing printer account has gone through the roof in the last few months. This last month is insane. Yeah, I don't take it out anymore. I do have to write the time on it. That's because everyone was just writing whatever they wanted on it, like just having one in their pocket and then a pen. but now you've got to like write the time and stuff on it. I mean,
But
I
I
haven't even
think-
seen it.
No, you told me in a chat we had the other day that there's people out sort of touring and mountain biking. You see them out in La Clusaz.
I haven't seen anyone touring, but I think I left my binoculars in the other chalet, which is a bit annoying. I've got some good views of some mountains, but I haven't seen any tracks or anything. But yeah, definitely mountain bikers. Where I within the boundaries go for a run, there are a lot of people cycling down, and which surprises me because it's quite a tricky path to cycle down in the first place. I think for like, I find it weird that road biking is banned, because for me that is safer than mountain biking, and you know, it's about being responsible and not putting too much pressure on the resources, not necessarily the sport itself, I think.
Yep. Well, let's see how things progress for our next pod in whenever that turns out to be.
You'll be Michael Gove will be personally standing next to you to make sure you don't do anything. That's what's going to happen in the UK. I don't know. Right. Shall we finish up? Have you got anything else to say, Ian? I've got to go teach. I've got to go.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm going to go and do Joe Wicks. His Monday morning.
Does he know about that?
We keep trying to get a comment read out, but he's got too many people doing it.
No worries. You should try Fat Barry from Cornwall. He's much better. Right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. Get in touch with the show on Twitter at the Ski Podcast. On Facebook, you can find us or email in Jim at skipodcast.com or Ian at the skipodcast.com. And don't forget to share us with all your ski mates. Right. Thanks, Ian. Take care. Bye, everyone.
See you, Jim. Bye.
Right, I do have to go, Ian. Take care.
Yeah, no worries. See ya.
Bye.